Ladies and gentlemen, here on this channel, we've recently started talking about interrogation and interrogation techniques. And the reason for that is because A, people were interested, because B, I've done that professionally. Yes, I was an interrogator as part of my job as a criminal investigator, both for general crimes and counter narcotics. What I thought would be a lot of fun is to look at movies and see what they do well or what they don't do well when it comes to portraying this sort of thing. Before we get too far, I understand the importance of cinematography, but I'm not here to analyze that. I'm here to talk about realism. And for the sake of simplicity, we're going to assume everybody has already been read their Miranda rights.
So, why don't we start with your name?
47.
What exactly are you?
An assassin.
Okay, a lot of issues immediately. And the first is the room. The mirror is in the wrong place. The door is in the wrong place, and the camera angle does not make sense. Let me explain. There are certain recommended practices when it comes to putting together a police interrogation room. To start with, we need a room. Not bad, but let's put our detective in there. All right, there's a detective, but we also need a subject. All right, where do they go? That's a great question, and this is where things get a little complicated. Well, usually we need a table, right? Because if you're doing paperwork, well, let's put a table. I like to have the table kind of in the corner. And I like to have the subject sit right there. Now, the detective is going to go there. Now, the reason is a lot of people want to go there, but there's this table here. It creates this psychological barrier. So we're going to put psych barrier. Don't mind me. Psych barrier. You probably can't read that very well, but that's fine. Psych barrier. Have a person there. You might have a second person taking notes sort of over here, but that's if you have that. You don't always have that sort of thing. This now determines where the rest of the stuff is going to go. So generally a mirror is going to be in a place, let's say here, if you have a two-way mirror, you don't always, a place where you can see both the subject and the detective. And often in major crimes, these are going to be filmed. So you might have a camera, let's see here. Maybe you'll have a camera here looking that way. And that way you might be able to see the face of the person that is being interviewed or interrogated. And for the record, interrogation just means you are not free to leave, i.e. you are in police custody, and you are being asked questions that may incriminate you if you answer them, which often you don't actually have to answer. But back to the cameras. You might have one here. Oh gosh, you might have one here. Why not? I mean, go nuts with the cameras. But sometimes it's a secret little pinhole camera. We had ours, I want to say, right here, and it had a very wide field of view. There could be cameras everywhere. Very easy to hide cameras. Little pinhole cameras. Really fancy. And then from there, you need a door. I personally like to have my door anywhere along here. So, door here or door here. Probably just one door. But you want that door, at least I want that door, somewhere where the subject is not going to have it necessarily in their direct line of sight, but close enough that they might start glancing at it. And the reason is because a person who gets nervous, who wants to leave, what they'll start doing is they might start glancing at the door, or they might position their body so it's pointing at that door. Body language is super important. The way you answer questions is super important. Changes in intonation and diction and all sorts of things, super important. So you want to set up your room to best facilitate that sort of thing. And this right here, this is basically the layout that I used every single time. I'll show it to you again. Well, okay, that's a garbage drawing, but I hope you understand sort of, what was this? Oh, that was the observer, person taking notes, generally. You might have that, you might not have that. Anyway, but this is what it looked like for me almost every single time. It was a great setup. We loved it. Moving on. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Never saw this movie. Don't know what's happening. I do see that there is, of course, a firearm and a round of ammunition next to it, which is a big no-no. I assume that firearm is evidence. You wouldn't necessarily take the physical evidence and bring it into this room. I guess you could, but a firearm, you might take a picture of it and be like, haha, do you recognize this? Because it's not like they're not going to recognize it from a picture, I'm sure. Take more pictures. Take a bunch from different angles. It's fine. Put ammunition next to it. I mean, it looks like a live round. Sure, the guy's handcuffed, but that's just a bad idea. And why is it pointed at him? That might be a lawsuit right there against the department, whatever department this is. I see Marines in the corner. I assume that maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know. Didn't see the movie.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You love your family.
family.
Yes, your wife. Two small children. You love them.
And the interrogator has already lost control of the interrogation. Yeah, you can have a conversation, you can open up, you can discuss things, but roles have clearly reversed, and a good interrogator should be able to recognize that and take back control. Not a great look for this guy, that's for sure.
All right, you listen to me very carefully, Mr. 47, or whatever the fuck your name is. There's a lot of ways that this thing can end, and that is entirely up to you. But you can be goddamn certain that this thing is not going to end the way that you thought it was.
Okay, pause for a second. First of all, you need to control your emotions. That's super important. If you watch real interrogations, you'll notice oftentimes that the interrogator kind of talks like this.
So you land, and what time are you landing?
6:30.
Okay.
7
Not like this.
Last time I checked, you're locked in here with me.
This is not generally how you want to do it. Now, there are techniques that would necessitate this kind of thing, but I don't think it would necessitate loading the bullet, the ammunition, into the gun. That, somebody should be stopping him. There should be an observer behind that glass running in to be like, stop? Maybe? Okay. First of all, his hand appears to be moving at about the speed of that bullet, so unlikely. Not super relevant to interrogations, just unlikely. Zero reaction from the Marines. I assume they're there specifically as extra security, so you'd think they'd move. They're not just decoration pieces. They aren't statues. They are there for a purpose. They are useless, though, because they're not fulfilling it. Oh, also, not important to the interrogation, but why is that weapon firing just from bouncing on the bipod? If you have a rifle that does that, you need to fix that. That's very dangerous. Moving on. Yeah, so you don't generally or ever bring a loaded firearm or any type of weapon into an interrogation room. We had lock boxes in our offices, and we take our firearm off, any knives, we put them in a lockbox, we lock it away before we go into the room. Because we are in a room with these people. If they do get loose and they cause trouble, things could go bad very, very quickly. So you don't do that. I don't know why the Marines were armed. I don't know why he brought a rifle with a bullet. It's just, there's a lot here that doesn't make sense. It's not how it is in the real world. If I had to rate this, on a scale of, 1 to 10 donuts, I'd give it a 1, but only because they had a door, a two-way mirror, a table, people in the room. That's it. Only because there was a room, basically. 1 out of 10 donuts. That's it. If you like this, we can do more. I'd love to do more. So, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button if you want more of this. Let me know in the comment section if there are scenes that you want to see. And until the next time, be good, stay safe.